Good evening, everybody. So as Karen already told you, my name is Andrew McDowell, and I'm the secretary here for the Annapolis chapter. So in addition to having several short stories and poetry and essays published, my greatest claim to fame is the fantasy novel Mr. Greenwood, which got republished last year after the original publisher shut down. The second book is aimed to be coming out next summer, and that's what I'm going to be reading from tonight. Now, there are spoilers from the first book, so if you're not okay with hearing spoilers and you want to read the first one, I suggest you either leave the room or cover your ears. And if we had anybody online, I would tell them to turn off their volume. So, good morrow, Grandma. Yarworth, said Rory. How was the water? Asked Saoirse. Cool and refreshing, remarked her grandson. I love watching it flow, with the sunlight reflecting off it. It's so heavenly and magical. Time is a river without end, my friend, proclaimed Yarworth, for the flow of river and stream is itself ceaseless, always rolling forth. True, agreed Saoirse. You, Dermot, have celebrated your birthday since your induction into the Driocht. She's right. I'm 16 years old now. Next springtide, Brian will be 14. Dermot rubbed the whiskers growing on his chin and under his nose. A river of memories rushed into his mind, which made him feel even older. He thought about when he'd first met Saoirse, Rory, and Fergus's mother, Maeve. He remembered the night his home village, Emerin, had been consumed in dragon fire, then the night of Fergus's hatching in Fianna Forest, and lastly the night Maeve had been mercilessly slaughtered. So much had happened to him and his brother since they had left home. It felt like yesterday. A terrible surge of heat ballooned throughout his body. He clenched his teeth in his fist. Sighing, Dermot pressed his hand to his forehead, shielding his eyes. At that precise moment, shrill noises greeted his ears. He peered into the tree overhead. He could see baby sparrows and squirrels on a branch and in a small hole within the trunk, respectively. He could feel the animals' unkindness rush through him. Even the tree berated him. Go somewhere else. Leave us alone. I don't understand, said Dermot, looking at his elders. Why are they so furious with me? What have I done to offend them? Yarworth sighed. You will find that wildlife, plant and animal alike, react to the feelings and thoughts any outsider brings into their dominion. Often with humans, their emotions bleed out, and the dwellers of this domain are affected. Dermot didn't speak. He felt thick in his throat. Travelers, no matter if peasant or noble, when passing through a forest, isolate themselves from all it has to offer, usually because they only wish to get out, said Yarworth. They simply close their souls to the forest. They generate thoughts of anger, fear, and frustration, with no care that it might affect the creatures who call the forest home. Even if they aren't angry, they do not embrace the forest nor enjoy it. They know they don't belong here. Because such outsiders are intruders, these animals, in fear, hide. Why else do you think travelers scarcely see the forest's inhabitants? But I am a Driador, said Dermot. I didn't know all this before. Does that mean you should behave like an outsider, even whilst they approach you? Asked Saoirse. Remember, Dermot, the forest and all the creatures must accept you. As a Driador, you're responsible for tending their homes and respecting them and their inhabitants. We must always take responsibility for our actions and our mistakes. Do not let personal turmoil wall you from your sacred duty, as it did Torin. Dermot knew what she meant. Torin was Tyrannus' true name, before he betrayed the Driocht, devoting himself to black magic and to dominating Aldenu. Forgive me, said Dermot. The lad's eyes became wet. Apologize not to us, said Yarworth, but to these forest dwellers. Dermot nodded, despite being convinced he wouldn't be forgiven. Having dropped to his knees, he found all the creatures now gazing back at him, silent. He sighed heavily. Forgive me. I never meant to hurt any of you with my thoughts, truly. I didn't know. I'm so sorry. Exchanging looks with the two families, a familiar sensation beset him from the animals. Thank you. You're forgiven. His lips formed a half smile as he wiped tears from his cheek. Nodding, Dermot still felt unworthy of their forgiveness, but he was grateful for it all the same. He sniffled. Then he paused and looked up to hear a raven squawking from an oaken branch. The others looked too. What's he telling us? Asked Brian. Is something wrong? Someone's coming, said Yarworth. The youth shuddered, but Yarworth made squawks of his own. The raven honked back. Yarworth's eyes widened. 'Tis not a warning call, but an announcement, he said, turning. He's here. Thank you.